Welcome. I am Charles Musgrove, your host of Answers That Count. New name, same show with great content. We're going to add a little bit of few different twists in the future, but we try to provide great content. We try to provide the subject matter experts that have the information to help you run your business better. And go check us out. You can check us out on AnswersThatCount.com. If you've got any questions, send them to cmusgrove@AnswersThatCount.com. If you've got a show topic, we'll do our best to get that on in the future. So we've got all of our YouTube videos out there. Look for us at Answers That Count. We have a lot of great YouTube videos. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio. So we've got all of our shows. They're out there on the most popular podcast platforms. You'll find us there. And today we've got Tim Fitzpatrick. Tim, welcome to the show.
Charles, thanks for having me, man. I'm super excited.
It's going to be a great show. And today we are talking all things marketing, what a small business should do with their marketing plan. And Tim, thank you for joining us. Tim is from parts near Denver, Colorado. So you're about 35 miles south. Is that correct, from Denver?
Yeah,
so good. We're about 90 degrees here in Tallahassee, Florida. Today we actually have a little bit less humidity, but we were already getting into the summertime heat in Tallahassee. What's it like there in Colorado?
You know what? I think we're in the mid 80s, but our humidity,
what's it get about?
I don't know,
20%,
40%.
Yeah,
it's dry here.
Wow.
So we don't get humidity.
Yeah, that makes a difference. You can actually sit outside and not perspire or sweat.
Yes.
Sweat, as I like to say,
that's right.
Yeah. Not here. If you walk from your house to the car, if it's parked outside, you're gonna start to have some beads of sweat on your forehead pretty quickly.
Yeah, not the case in Denver, that's for sure.
Well, good. You know the format. I think I've talked to you about this in the pre-show. So what we will do is we'll have I call this the pre-show. So we actually record a segment of this for radio broadcasting. So this is part of this show will be put on the airwaves. It'll be a 30-minute radio program. But let's set up the show in what I call the pre-show, and a lot of times we'll have so much content that we have to carry that to the post-show. So those that are watching on YouTube or listening on podcasts, just stay with us. This show may last 45 or 50 minutes. Who knows? If we got a lot of content, we won't go over an hour, but there'll be a lot of good information that we try to provide to you today. And Tim, the marketing part of a business is I've heard it described. That's one of the third wheels, or the third legs to a stool, right? Of a successful business. You got to have the back office, you got to have the production, and you got to be able to sell it. So,
yeah,
that's one of the key components of running a successful business, is having having an effective marketing plan or program.
Yep, I'm biased, obviously, but the way I always talk about it is, if you don't have marketing in your business, you can have the best product, the best service. It doesn't matter, because you're not going to make it, because you have to have marketing attracting potential clients and bringing them in the door. Yeah. And if you don't, none of the rest of it matters.
Yeah, I've had somebody a lot wiser than I in the past said, you can reduce your marketing cost by 50% because it's only 50% effective. But you don't know what 50% to cut out, so you're kind of stuck at a spending level that a lot of times it's hard to match. I'm spending this dollar, I'm going to get this benefit.
Yeah, you should be getting a return on your marketing dollars.
Right.
If you're not, then there's something going on there. But yeah, the way I look at marketing is it's an investment, right? If you see it as an expense, what can you do with it, right? You can cut it.
That's right.
Especially now, right? With the downturn that we're experiencing, marketing oftentimes is one of the first things people look at cutting. And I think it's one of the worst things that you can cut right now, because most of your competitors are looking at that, doing the same thing. To me, now is the opportunity to continue to invest, your marketing will give you a return, and it will put you in a position to be much better off than your competitors as we move through this.
Yeah, I would agree. There's so many things we can talk about, because how you spend the marketing dollars has changed dramatically in the last, I would say, even 5 years. You used to look at magazines and print medium, and now that is so expensive, and there's a lot more economical ways to get the message out that weren't available in the past. So yep. I think that would be something to touch on in the show is how that's changed, and just how to allocate what the recommendation, or is there a blueprint for an allocation of how you spend your marketing dollars? And marketing, we're using that very broad, because business development, marketing, it probably makes sense for us to kind of define what that is. What are we talking about on the income statement? Even though marketing is an investment, we can't put that on the balance sheet, at least in most cases. There may be some circumstances we can, but we still have to expense that. So from a debits and credit standpoint, we got to expense it. So let's kind of narrow down what we're talking about when we say marketing, or is that even the right word to call it?
No, I think that's the right word. The way I look at marketing is marketing is getting someone who has a need or a problem that your business can solve to know, like, and trust you. So, I mean, that's still pretty broad, but it's a pretty simple definition, right? I mean, we all do business with people we know, like, and trust.
I like that.
And the job of our marketing is to get people to that point where they're ready to take the next step, so that when it's time to hand off from marketing to sales, you're handing off a warm person that is ready to have a conversation about how you can help them solve the problem that they have.
Right. Tim, let's mention right now the name of your company is Rialto Marketing.
Rialto Marketing. Yep, it's Rialto.
And people can find you at what URL? Do you go off of a website, or is Facebook your best avenue, or what's the best?
Website's the best place, which is rialtomarketing.com, and from there you can find all of our information online. Good.
You can go anywhere from there.
Yep.
Good. So give us a little bit of background on your history and what the niche is for your company right now.
Sure. So, me personally, I graduated from college in '96, and ever since then I've, been involved and I've owned businesses. I've had some successes, some failures. We all do as business owners, but they've all been learning experiences. And, I started Rialto Marketing in 2013, and originally we were focused on mobile applications. We were actually selling mobile apps into the school market, K-12 education market. And, like a lot of businesses, I got to a point where I needed to shift and pivot, because I realized that my income was heavily dependent on the policies of Apple and Google.
Right.
And I also realized that I wasn't quite sure I wanted to be in the education space long term. And so that's when I shifted, and we got much more involved in more comprehensive marketing solutions for small businesses. So, since then, I like to tell people we help small businesses and entrepreneurs eliminate the confusion of marketing. And we do that by helping them put in place and manage a simple plan so that they can grow. What makes us different than a lot of marketing providers is we focus on the fundamentals first. You gotta have the fundamentals are so important. They don't change. Mm-hmm. They don't change no matter what you're doing, whether you're trying to hit a baseball or market. They're all the same. But most people skip the fundamentals, and you can't have long-term marketing success without having the fundamentals in place first. So we focus on the fundamentals first, then we get involved in the more tactical elements and help people manage what they're doing on a monthly basis.
I like that. So let's do the if it's not a real long list, let's go through those fundamentals once we start doing the show recording. I think that'll be very helpful, and then differentiate those fundamentals and go into the tactical. So you said once the fundamentals are in place, then you move into an execution. Is probably another word for the tacticals.
Yep, that's right. It's more, you can start to focus on the little things that you're going to do each and every day
right,
to continue to grow your marketing.
Perfect. And also, let's save since I'm an accountant, CPA, let's save a little bit of space in our discussion to talk about, is there, for different industries, would there be target dollars that should be spent or used in the marketing effort?
Got it.
I don't know if that's something that you normally advise people on. Heck, it's marketing a lot of times can be fun. So it's it takes it's a different process. It's a different skill set than what accounting is. It's usually the other side of the brain. So if you didn't have barriers or I guess sideboards to keep you constrained on the marketing side, you could just go crazy and you could spend a ton of money on marketing because it's probably a lot more fun than accounting, right?
You can spend as much money as you want.
Yeah.
Right? There's no shortage of places to spend the money.
Yeah. And there's probably a point of diminishing return.
The way I look at marketing is if you can put $1 in and get $2 back,
right,
then why would you not want to keep investing?
I totally agree with that. But there's got to be a point of diminishing returns.
Yeah. Yeah, there can be, but I think that's why you need to, where a lot of businesses struggle, I think, is they're investing money in their marketing and they don't know if it's working.
Yeah.
They don't know what metrics they should track. And so they come back and they're like, well, geez, I don't even know. I'm spending this money, but I'm not sure, and that is a critical element, because if you don't understand what's happening with it and what type of return you're getting, how can you possibly make a knowledgeable decision about how you should move forward?
Good. Is that part of the fundamentals, is to have that measurement in place?
Yes, it is.
Good.
And when we get into that, I can tell you, when we look at a marketing plan, that's one of the things that we want in that marketing plan is the metrics.
Good.
So that you can have an idea of, hey, is the stuff that I'm doing actually working or not? Good.
Well, let's there's probably another couple of things. One of the other things that we can talk about is, and this will be crystal ball, we're hopefully coming out of this COVID lockdown and the states and the communities are starting to open back up. I'd like to get your prediction on what that looks like. Is it going to be the hockey stick reversal? Is it going to be the check mark? What's it going to be? And the different industries that are going to be impacted differently as well. I don't think it's as easy as it's going to come back in 3 months. I think you've got different industries are going to come back differently, and probably even in different communities and states.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think it's something that you can apply universally to everyone. I think it's going to depend on the industry and the target market that you're serving as well. I've talked to plenty of people that are in the same industries, and some are doing really well and some aren't, and it's all a byproduct of the market that they're serving.
Right. All right. Well, good. Let's do that, and we will take everybody. Stay with us on YouTube and podcast. We're going to transition over to recording for the radio show, so stick with us, and we're going to be right back. We're not leaving.
Welcome to Answers That Count. If you own a business, you can count on us to give you the answers you need to succeed in all aspects of your business. And now, here's your host, Charles Musgrove.
Hello, all out there. This is Charles Musgrove, your host of Answers That Count. Welcome back. It seems like it's been a long time since we've been in studio, but it's only been a week, so glad to be back on the air and recording another show. You know what we do. We provide those nuggets of knowledge for the business owner, for the entrepreneur, for the person running the business. So we've got a little bit of a different name. It's used to be Business Matters, so now we are going by Answers That Count. So look for us at answersthatcount.com. You'll see all of our past shows there. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on all the other podcast platforms out there. And today we have Tim Fitzpatrick from Colorado, 35 miles south of Denver. He's joining us via Zoom call. So welcome, Tim Fitzpatrick, to the Answers That Count podcast.
Thanks for having me, Charles. Happy to be here.
Man, it's going to be a great show. We are talking all things marketing today. So what the small business owner, what the entrepreneur, what should they do in their marketing plan? What should it look like? How should they deploy assets? How should we look at it as an investment, as an expense? There's just so many things that we want to talk about that I think can really be helpful to the business owner, because everybody, they know they have to spend money on a marketing effort or a marketing plan or something. They have to do something in the marketing aspect. They just know that inherently if they run a business, if they own a business. But a lot of people just throw money at it, and there's not a comprehensive or cohesive plan on how to spend it or how to measure the results of it.
Yep, totally agree.
Yeah,
see it all the time.
So we're in your space. So we're going to look for some great information from you. All of us business owners and entrepreneurs out here, we kind of like to do the marketing part, but it's always a quandary. What should we do? How much should we spend on it? What should it look like? What kind of results should we expect from the dollars that we put into it? So let's kind of go through that. I know that in the pre-show you talked about the fundamentals. So let's make sure the fundamentals are in place. So what are the fundamentals of a marketing plan?
Yeah. So as we were talking in the pre-show, the way I view marketing and how to be successful with it is you've got to have the fundamentals in place first. The fundamentals lay the foundation that you can build the rest of your house from. What we see a lot of times happen with businesses is they're not sure, they're guessing, right? They're throwing stuff up against a wall hoping that it sticks. And inevitably it doesn't, and they wonder why it's not working. Most of the time, you can trace back marketing problems to the fundamentals. The way I look at the fundamentals is I call them the marketing strategy trilogy.
I like that.
So
that sounds very good.
Know who your target market is. Second, you've got to have really good messaging, and then you've got to have a plan that you can follow. So if we dig into each one of those just a little bit more, right? Your target market is who are your ideal clients? Who are the people that you serve well, that you do the best work for, that are profitable, that refer you business? You need to understand who your ideal clients are, because if you try to reach everyone, you reach no one.
True.
So you first got to understand who you're trying to reach. Most businesses have anywhere from 1 to 3 ideal client types. It's totally okay. If you've got more than that, I think it can be hard to focus, right? You've got to keep it as simple as possible. I love to keep things to their simplest form.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
you got to know who your ideal clients are.
That is so true, especially with service companies. I mean, in your business and in my business, we probably just know what the profile of the best client is. So we know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's demographics. When people look at target market and their ideal clients, a lot of people dig really deep into the demographics, which is okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think what's even more important is the psychographics. How are they feeling? What situation are they in? How are they making decisions, right? Because that really helps you get into their head and how you can engage them best, right? So the demographics, yes, they're important, but the psychographics are really important as well. And I like to tell people, look, you can go into the weeds on ideal client profiles, and people call them ideal client profiles or buyer personas or customer avatars. They're all the same thing. You can go as deep as you want. Initially, especially if you're doing it just yourself, I recommend people start small. Maybe you're going to have some basic demographic info, and then just understand what are the problems that your ideal clients have and how can you uniquely solve them. Even if you just start with a paragraph or 2 of who that ideal client is, at least you have a general picture and a general idea of who you're trying to attract.
Now, when you're doing this, I'm going to think objectively and think, okay, I'm going to call the ideal client someone that is beyond we enjoy working with them, but they're a profitable client. We can meet their expectations. We make money. They're happy. We're happy working with them. So those are kind of the just objectively. And so you got the objective. You can look at the numbers and see if a client is profitable or not, the client type. And then the other part is may go into your psycho part where did they enjoy it, or did they get satisfaction working from us, and did we enjoy working with them?
Yeah. And do we do great work for these people?
Exactly.
Right? Just because a client's profitable doesn't mean that they're an ideal client. If you don't do great work for them and get good results, you're not going to be able to attract more of those people, right? So
I agree. Yeah.
we want profitable clients that we do our best work for, that we enjoy working with. That's a great place for most businesses to start, is looking at those clients. And then when you look at those types of clients, inevitably patterns start to show up, and then typically you can put that one group of ideal clients into maybe 1, 2, or 3 ideal client profiles.
Right. Then once you have that,
for most businesses to start,
once you have that measured, or if you can reduce that down to some objective criteria, then you can go target those clients for future clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And when once you've identified those clients, we always recommend people interview them. Sit down and talk to 5, 10, 15 of those clients and really dig in and start asking them, the pertinent questions. How did you find us? What problems did you have when you first started working with us? What did you like about working with us? What makes us different from other people? How can we do things better? Just, again, all you're doing is trying to ask questions to help get in their head so that you can understand who they are as a person.
Right.
And oftentimes, right, as businesses, we have a really hard time sometimes communicating our unique value in the marketplace. And when we sit down and talk to our customers about it, oftentimes they make it so easy because they can actually communicate our value proposition so much better than we can.
Interesting.
It's really eye-opening sometimes, because we, as business owners, oftentimes we can't see the forest through the trees.
Yeah, I like that. That's that's number one.
Yes,
identifying
that's number one.
Identifying your client target.
Yeah, your target market. The second is you got to have good messaging. So your messaging is how you communicate with prospects and current clients. When somebody asks you, what do you do? What do you say? How do you communicate how you're different, right? Your messaging is what creates clarity, and it engages people so that, it makes your company memorable and magnetic, right? It makes people want to do business with you.
So where do you put that?
The biggest mistakes people make with messaging is they're focusing on how great they are as a business. They're not focusing on how they can help the customer. Right? Our customers, it sucks to hear it, but our customers don't care about us.
That's true. It's about them.
They care about themselves.
Right.
So the only thing that they care about is how we can help them solve a problem that they have. How can we help them get from where they currently are to where they want to be? And when you've got good messaging, that's exactly what your messaging does. It puts your customer at the forefront, and it helps position you as the guide in the story. Right. So when we create messaging, we follow a storytelling framework. I wish I could say we created it. We did not. We follow a storytelling framework from a company called StoryBrand by Donald Miller. And it just makes sense. It helps so that you know exactly what you're going to say whenever you're talking to somebody. Because you're always going to go back to that playbook. Whenever you need to create messaging, you're not creating it from the fly. You're going back to this playbook where you've got all these messaging elements that you can use. And it helps position your customer as the hero in the story, and you are the guide. Your business is the guide that is going to help them get from where they are to where they want to be.
I like it. So once you have the proper message, so you've created the message in that, doing it that process. So once you have the message, then the message has to be delivered, and it has to be delivered consistently. So you have to get the message to the people that are interfacing with your client base or your target client base, and everywhere else, your website, I would think, and everything outward facing, you have to be delivering that same message.
Absolutely, right? It's got to be, that's where a storytelling framework can really help, because it creates that consistency. In marketing, there's a rule they call the marketing rule of 7, which says that your target market needs to see your message, see your brand at least 7 times for it to start to register. if you're saying different things each time they come in contact with you, you're confusing them.
Plus, it's another 7. You got to start over.
It's not going to be as effective as it can be.
Right.
We have to be, with our messaging, we have to be clear. We don't want to be clever. We have really short attention spans at this point. I think the last time I looked at this stat, and I wish I could tell you where it came from, but the average attention span of humans is 8 seconds at this point, which is less than a goldfish.
Wow.
So if somebody lands on your website and you've got that main image on your website and they read the messaging that you have there, if they don't understand immediately, what you do and how you can help them,
they're off.
They're gone.
Yeah.
We're so impatient.
All right. So that, I don't know if that's a nugget or not, but you just told us we have the attention span of a goldfish or less.
Yeah.
I won't be insulted by that. That's just that's a fact, right?
Cell phones, with the internet.
Yeah.
We're so used to information at our fingertips where it's like, hey, if I need to answer to something, I just Google it and I've got the answer. If I can't find the answer quick, I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
And that's how most of us are at this point. If we can't get what we want quickly, we're moving on somewhere else. So if your marketing message is making people think because you're getting too clever and it's not clear, you're losing business and you don't even know it.
Yeah. All right. So that takes us to 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
So we've got our target client, our profile, the correct messaging. And so what's number 3?
Number 3 is you got to have a plan. You have to have something that you can follow and just jump in and start doing, right? You have to take action.
Right.
Right. All of this without action is just,
it's a good idea.
Nothing. It's not going to do anything. So you've got to have a plan, and a plan will help you identify when and what you're going to execute on. It will also help you stay focused, because with marketing, you touched on this. There are so many more channels to market your business now than there was even 5-10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started in the distribution business, we had a website, which was more of an online brochure, and we did training, and we had salespeople. That was it. It was not rocket science, and it worked. Now people start a business and they go, oh my God, where do I start? I'm overwhelmed. I'm confused. I don't know what I should do. Your plan keeps you focused so that when you get an email or you see some social media post this week saying, hey, your business has to be on TikTok, or whatever the cool marketing channel is this week, you can go back to your plan and go, nope, TikTok's not in my plan for the next 90 days. So right. I'm not going to worry about it. I need to focus on these things that are in my plan.
Good. So your plan is pretty detailed.
Remain focused and not get distracted.
So that plan
a lot of people struggle with that. It's easy to do because it's like somebody's saying, hey, this is what you need to do. This is great. It's working. No, put your plan together. Here's what we recommend with the plan.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Especially now. One, I think a marketing plan should not be any more than 90 days. The market is changing so fast, and frankly, your business is changing. Why, these people that put together a year-long marketing plan that's 20 pages and they spend thousands of dollars, it goes in a drawer.
Right.
Most of the time. It's like a business plan.
But now, let's also, you mentioned,
doesn't make sense to me.
You mentioned one thing there too. You mentioned one thing there also is that those long-range marketing plans, the more pages you put in that marketing plan, the more expensive it is. Not just for the paper that it's printed on, but the brain power to go into it and the time commitment. So I get that in 90 days you need to revisit that. Now it doesn't mean you're going to totally revamp it, but you modify it.
Yep. It's 90 days gives you a 90-day sprint where you can look back at the end of 90 days and go, okay, hey, what's been working, what's not, and what course corrections do we need to make? Because it's the incremental improvements that we make in our marketing that make all the difference. Those little incremental improvements make an exponential difference in your results long term.
Interesting.
So when we look at a 90-day marketing plan, again, I like to keep it simple. You got 6 steps. First is your target market, right? So who are my ideal clients? Second, you're looking at what's the goal for my marketing over the next 90 days.
Would that be the goal, be the increase in sales or increase in customers or dollar So it could be anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something measurable.
Good.
Right. So, I want to bring on 15 new clients in the next 90 days. Okay. The only thing that I tell people about this marketing goal that's specific, measurable, right? It's time bound, it's realistic, is that is an outcome-based goal. Outcome-based goals, there are things beyond your control that can impact your ability to hit that goal, right? So in January, I may have had a goal of, doubling my business in the first 90 days. Well, COVID hit.
Yeah. Outside your control.
Beyond my control.
Right.
I don't care if I did everything right. That may have just sunk my business already.
Right.
So I think it's important to have that outcome-based goal, but I also think it's important to not get too caught up in it. I think it's more important to focus on the action steps that you can take within the plan to help you get to that goal.
Right. A question there. So listen, and this is real world stuff. So not that we have a COVID every year or every 3 years. Let's hope it's a once in a lifetime deal. But
yeah, let's hope.
But at some point during that COVID lockdown, you would have gone to your marketing plan and revised that.
Yeah, potentially, depending on how it was impacting my business, right? But I could go back and go, ooh, you know what? We need to shift. Okay, so perfect example. Okay, we do a lot of I did a lot of speaking before COVID. When COVID hit, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this in-person speaking.
Right.
So we had to shift that a little bit. Was it a huge shift? No, we just shifted to more online-based training, speaking opportunities rather than in person. But it was still a shift that we had to make.
Yeah.
And it was still something that we had to be cognizant of. I mean, there's a lot of people that run into roadblocks and they just stuck.
One thing
right?
that
they can't make that shift.
One item that you're bringing to the attention is the travel and how the people meeting in person change dramatically. And the question is, will that go back to what it was before? And I've seen this in the legal community, for one, dealing with attorneys, dealing with the court system.
Yeah.
When you did a mediation in the past, everybody would meet in the same room, split up, and it would be an in-person meet. Those are all done through Zoom calls now.
Yeah.
So the mediators are very sophisticated in how they do the private chat rooms and the group meet rooms. I mean, it's really evolved that. The court system, so that's part of the court system, but that's changed as well. It's made it much more efficient. I did a podcast with an attorney about a month ago, and they used to. This was the managing partner of the firm. He used to travel all over the United States, and his travel costs for all of his partners, it was some crazy amount every month. And he said, I mean, it was like a $400,000 to $500,000 a month type of cost that they have cut that to next to nothing. And it's not that they aren't getting the work done; they've just changed their delivery method. Yeah. So now they're doing Zoom calls.
Businesses, it's going to change how we do business long term. It's not to say that business travel is going to be gone, but I think doing things virtually is, if your industry, if it wasn't well accepted, I think it is becoming that way. And people are going to look at it and just go, gosh, why are we doing this? It's so much more efficient.
Right.
And we can get so much more work done.
Yeah.
Have I ever met you face to face in person? No, I haven't, Charles, but we've talked multiple times. I feel like I'm getting to know you despite the fact that we have never sat down face to face.
I agree with you. And it's not just the dollar and cents of that travel cost that you pay for the airline, you pay for the hotel room, but it's the cost of your time as well.
Absolutely.
So it makes it's funny. The attorney I was talking to is like his quality of life has increased dramatically. So he's not spending all those days out on the road in a hotel room. He's back at home doing much more business and a much happier. He's a much happier person doing it.
Yeah.
All right, so I did a sidetrack there. So I think you've made it through 2 of those of the 6.
Yes, you're right. So we left off at your marketing goal. Next step is you've got to understand your marketing budget and your resources.
Good.
So when I talk about resources, I mean, staff. How much time can your staff take to execute on your marketing plan? Because this is a really important element of the plan, because if it's just me and I've got no marketing budget and only my time, that's going to impact the number of things that I can focus on my marketing plan. That's not to say that it's wrong, right? There's no right or wrong here. It's just I need to understand what resources I have so that I can determine how much I can put in my plan and focus on it.
Right.
So how much money do I have to invest, and how much staff and resources do I have? There's no right or wrong answer from a money and investment standpoint. Depending on the business, I've heard numbers where they say, hey, you should invest anywhere from 5 to 10% of your top line revenue in marketing. I don't really know if that's a hard and fast rule. I mean, I think you could use that as a good place to start, but how much you invest really does depend on what kind of return you're getting and what it's doing for you.
Right.
Because if you can continue to get a good, solid return on it,
you're going to keep doing it.
Why would you not want to continue to invest? But 5 to 10% is probably a good place to start, and then you can look at it and determine from there.
Right.
Hey,
well, how to
can
adjust
I invest
that
more, or do I need to pull back?
I have seen those are numbers that seem reasonable, and I've seen restaurant franchises that they're anywhere from 3 to 8% just on what they have to pay for the corporate marketing. So you're probably 5 to 10%. That's in the ballpark, and that is a wide range depending on the industry and the amount of revenue that you're talking about and what the profitability is for that business as well. So, but that does give you kind of a thumb in the air to say, okay, either I'm in that range or I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, how many other items are on the list, because I want to go through the types.
There's 3 items.
Okay, go
3
ahead.
more, and
Good.
we can make it quick if you want.
We've got a few more minutes left in the show, so what we don't get covered here, let's do a good job covering those 3, because I want to hit some other topics that we'll do in the post show.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. So next step is your current marketing plan, and you may not have much. You may not even have a plan. Okay, but all we want to do here is look at there's a few major channels when we look at a marketing plan. There's your strategy, right, which is your target market and your messaging. There's your website.
Right.
There's content marketing. There is SEO, or search engine optimization.
Right.
Social media, email marketing, online advertising or pay-per-click advertising, and then offline marketing. When I look at offline, I'm talking about speaking in person, networking. If you're in a BNI group, you're doing direct mail, that type of stuff is offline. All we want to do in this current marketing plan section is just make note of what are we doing in these channels. And if it's nothing, then it's nothing. But you've got to understand where you currently are to figure out where you want to go. It's like a GPS.
Right.
Your GPS can't tell you how to get to the airport if you don't tell it where you're starting from.
Got it.
Then that next step is, what are you going to focus on in the next 90 days in each channel? You're probably not going to focus on all of those channels at once. Again, that really depends on how much money you have and the resources you have to support the plan. But all you want to do is outline what you're going to do for the next 90 days. And then the last thing is your metrics. What metrics are we going to track to help us determine whether is what we're doing working or is it not? And when I look at metrics, you can get bogged down in the numbers. I mean, I was a math major. I'm very analytical. Don't go into the weeds on this. Keep it to, 1 or 2 metrics per channel.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm focusing on my website, what metrics am I going to look at? And just keep it simple. Those are the metrics you're going to look at. And then you're going to look at how close did we get to our goal? Did we reach our goal? Did we pass it? And at the end of the 90 days, you're going to figure out, hey, what worked, what didn't? And then your next marketing plan really is going to be more of a course correction for the next 90 days.
It's tweaking what you already did.
For the last 90 days, what are we going to focus on for the next 90 days?
Man, that's a solid plan, and I love how you time that out. We went through the entire list, and we're at the end of the show. So, Tim, I want to thank you for joining us. And I want you to stick around for those that are listening on the podcast. If you're listening to the radio, go check us out on the podcast or YouTube, because we're going to have some more information. Tim's going to stick around. You've been listening to Answers That Count. I am Charles Musgrove. Thank you so much for joining us. Check us out every week at 11:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3. We're also on all the podcast channels, YouTube, and AnswersThatCount.com. Check us out. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Have a great week. Peace.
Answers That Count is brought to you by the Bean Team. For all your business accounting needs, visit beanteam.com for more info. You can listen to more episodes of Answers That Count on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, or visit AnswersThatCount.com.
All right, Tim. So let's. That was awesome. That was very good. So, the part that you went through there at the end, where do you put that? Where you're going to focus? So you've got all those channels. You've got a website. Yep. You've got all the social media platforms. So you've got the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn. You've got YouTube. I mean, there's so many out there. How do you prioritize that? So let's say you don't have anything. So if you had zero. New company, what would be your highest priority down to your lowest?
So after the fundamentals, right? After your target market, after your messaging, the next most important marketing asset you have is your website. Period. Okay. You've got to get your website right. It's got to have good messaging, good clear calls to action. It's got to be a good representation of your company, because I don't care if we deal with a lot of businesses who are, 75+% referral, or more. Most small businesses are. But what a lot of people don't realize is even if you're 100% referral, the referrals that you're getting, they're going online to check out your business.
Yeah.
And if you have a lousy website that looks like it was built in 1980,
people are going to move on.
It's not going to work. You are losing referral business and you don't even know it, because they go to your website and they go, "Oh my God, this website's awful. I'm not going to work with this person," and they leave.
Right.
So your website has to be good. Everything you do from a marketing perspective is going to drive people back to it. So that's your next step.
So if they're
after that, I would tell you that where you focus is going to depend on what type of business you have, but typical low-hanging fruit for a lot of businesses, email marketing is inexpensive. It is still very effective, and it is a great way to nurture potential prospects and a great way to stay in front of your existing clients.
Now,
so there's marketing, a lot of people skip it. They don't do it. I mean, I can't tell you how many people we've talked to who have been in business for 10 years. They've got 2,000 past customers and they're not sending out emails consistently.
Because you can spend a lot of money on that. You can get those those email platforms that are intelligent, that do help you do the follow-up. Do you recommend doing an email marketing platform like MailChimp or some of those?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, MailChimp is a really popular one. Constant Contact. We use and like ActiveCampaign, GetResponse, Aweber. All of those they're well-known, proven platforms. They work really well, and they're going to meet the needs of the vast majority of businesses out there. You can make these things as difficult or complicated as you want. Again, I always come back to try and keep things as simple as possible. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it.
Now, are you using that to send out a newsletter?
ActiveCampaign, MailChimp. I mean, for less than 500 contacts, most of these things are less than $20 a month.
Yeah, they are.
That's not a lot of money for the value that you're going to get from it.
Are you sending a newsletter in these email campaigns, or what's some of the content that you're going to send out?
Yeah, we focus on, for our own business, we send out a weekly message, which really is promoting more of our content for that week. And then we send out a monthly newsletter communication that has more content that we've put out and other value added information. So the way we approach content is it's all value added. It is about helping educate, nurture our customers, do whatever we can to help them. But just because you're putting out content that's value added doesn't mean you're not selling within it. You can very easily sell what I call subtly through your communications, and it works. It's effective. You just want to, whatever you do, you want to make sure you're communicating and adding value to your market, and not just being a pest.
Okay.
I like to keep things simple when it comes to email. We don't use a lot of graphics. There's a place for that, right? If you're in e-commerce and you're selling clothing and that kind of stuff, maybe it makes sense. But a lot of marketers are going back to just simple. A lot of our email messages look more like they came from a Gmail inbox.
Just simple text.
I like that because it just seems more personal.
Right. All right. So we've got a website, the email marketing campaign. I think that's good, and that's something that I have really often ignored or not invested in, the email marketing campaign. So I think that's a good takeaway on that. So you've got your website. Where does the AdWords, the if you want to pay for Google AdWords, where does that come into? Is that next, or where does that fall on the list on spending money?
That can certainly come in next if you're ready for it and you've got the budget to do it. Right? Paid ads, especially with Google Ads, is a very quick way to generate leads that are interested and ready to buy.
Right.
So it can be a great way to start bringing in leads more immediately while you're focused on other marketing tactics and channels that may take a lot longer to start producing results.
Mm-hmm.
Because realistically, if somebody says to you, hey, I'm going to start doing your marketing and, you're going to generate a gazillion leads, in the first 30 days, they're probably blowing smoke, because it's marketing. Most marketing channels take time.
Well, the other thing is
it takes time to get out there. Even if you're working on referrals, right? It takes time to develop relationships with partners who can refer you business. Most people don't meet you and go, oh, hey, cool. Yeah, Tim, I like the one conversation we had. I'll start sending you all the clients that I can.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And a lot of those
just patient, but the challenge is most of us aren't patient. So things like Google Ads can help you feel better about what you're doing because you're generating more immediate leads while giving you time to do for the rest of the stuff you're doing to start to bear fruit.
Right. So, okay. So what's next on the list if we're going down the list? And you may not even put AdWords next. I may have jumped the gun on that.
So there's a few different things that I would look at for a local business, a plumber, an attorney or a CPA who are trying to attract people from a local geographic area, home service business, anything like that, restaurant, online reviews, huge, super low hanging fruit. Most people don't take the time to focus on it, but guess what? We all make buying decisions based on reviews.
That is true.
And if somebody goes online and they find us and we don't have any reviews and our competitors do, it is going to be very challenging for us to get that business. So I would focus on online reviews. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive or difficult to do. The best way to get reviews is to put a process in your system, right? In your particular process to just, hey, when should we be requesting reviews?
Mm-hmm.
How do we request reviews? And how do we make it as easy as possible for people to leave us a review? So, how you do that is going to depend on how you interact with people, right? In a restaurant, well, oftentimes you're not getting an email address. So maybe you've got a request to leave a review on your receipts, or there's point of sale material that makes it easy for people to leave a review for you. But you want to be able to send them right to your Google My Business profile, or right to your Yelp link or your Facebook profile. Don't make them search for it.
Right.
If you're a plumber and you're getting customer names, email, well,
send it to them.
Process can be request it via email.
Right.
But you just have to consistently ask, because most people aren't going to leave reviews unless you prompt them to, and you make sure that they don't have to jump through hurdles. If you expect them, if you say, hey, please leave us a review, and you don't tell them where to go, they're not going to leave a review.
True.
Make it easy, tell them exactly where they need to go, and there's a higher likelihood that they are going to leave that review. And the last thing that you want to do is you want to respond to your reviews. Most companies do not respond to their reviews, positive or negative. If you respond to your reviews, you're showing that you're proactive, you care about your customers, and guess what? If you got a bad review, hey, none of us are perfect, but if you respond to that bad review and just say, hey, I'm so sorry, we fell short, we try, for 100% satisfaction, but we're human. Please reach out to us here, leave an email, leave a phone number to take that offline.
Good.
That's all people care about, right?
Yeah.
How many of us have had an experience where we dealt with somebody and then it was lousy, we complained, and then it's crickets? It's
yeah.
Well, they took my money, they don't care anymore.
That's really all you
People don't
want.
expect you to be perfect, and if they see that you've responded to bad reviews and you're proactive about it, all is forgiven. They're moving on.
Yep. That's right. That's what people
local
want.
Businesses, online reviews, very low-hanging fruit with really good return.
That is good. That's good advice, because you're right. Whether you're leaving a bad review online or whether you're having an experience in a restaurant, that's really what you want. Is you want the manager, or even better, the owner, to say, "I hear you. You're right. We didn't do the best we could have done. We're going to do better the next time. Thank you for coming. Please come back and give us another try." That's really what you want. I mean, you can't really fix it if it's already bad, but you can acknowledge that and try to do better the next time and let them know that.
If you're worried about bad reviews, if you're getting too many bad reviews, you got a process problem that you need to fix.
That's
right?
true.
And so reading your reviews actually can be a great way to gain a pulse on your market, right? What do people love about you? What are you doing well? But it can also tell you where you have room for improvement, because we all have room for improvement.
That's true. All right, before I let you go, you have to tell us the story behind the name of your firm.
Okay. Yeah. So Rialto Marketing. So it's twofold. Okay. The Rialto Bridge is a bridge in Venice, and Venice is one of the places that my wife and I went for our honeymoon. So that's the first.
Always, that has to be the first and most important.
Is, what do bridges do? Bridges help people get from where they are to where they want to be.
Right.
And that's the way I look at marketing. People want to grow their business. They're not sure how to do it. They're confused about what I need to do to get from here to there. And that's how I look at what we do. What we do with marketing is help businesses get from where they currently are to where they want to be. So
awesome. I love it. Tim, that's a great way to close out the show. You've been listening. You've been watching Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing. He's gone through a lot of stuff for us today. A lot of good nuggets out there that you left us, Tim. I'm going to go back and rewatch this. I'm going to make some notes on it, because there's so much good information out there I can apply to my business. And I'm sure that most any business out there, whether they're an owner, an entrepreneur, a manager, they can use some nuggets out of this show to help them do the marketing part of their business better. It's one of the 3 legs in a successful business. So make sure that you pay attention to it, that you do it right. And on the accounting side, you use objective measurements so that you can determine if it's successful or if it's not, what you need to modify, adapt, and keep going. So thank you so much, Tim. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show today. I look forward to getting you back on future shows. So thank you so much, and have a great day. We're going to sign off. Peace.
Answers That Count is brought to you by the Bean Team. For all your business accounting needs, visit beanteam.com for more info. You can listen to more episodes of Answers That Count on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, or visit answersthatcount.com.